guys, I am making a special video today about the astrological interpretations of the planet Eris. Eris, I like calling it Eris. I think the Greeks call it Eris. And I have had some pretty intense revelations about it. And I have to share because I've just been getting more and more intensely oriented with it. And I feel her speaking to me and through me. And she needs to be heard because nobody's talking. Nobody has any information about her. Nobody really understands her. And what really made me want to do this video is this book. So, well, two books. So I've been recently reading Stephen Forrest's Book of Pluto, which God love that man. If you're watching this, Stephen, you know I love you. He talks about Eris in the Book of Pluto. Now, this made me want to inquire into it. I inquired into it. I didn't know. Silly me. I mean, I didn't realize there was a 10th planet that had been discovered. Like, this is a huge deal. It was discovered in 2003, and it's like this astrological community barely talks about it. And it's a planet. It's just as important as Pluto. It has a bigger transit. It has a wider transit. But it is just as important as Pluto. And so why is nobody talking about it? Nobody's talking about it because nobody understands it. Nobody understands what it's about. Nobody understands what she is, what she's here to bring. And I feel very connected to her because when I looked at my chart online, I saw, oh, my moon is 1 degree from Eris. I am in a lot of ways Eris. And I have felt this, everything that she is about. I feel so deep in my bones, and I feel that she needs to speak, and so I'm going to allow her to speak through me, and I'm going to tell everybody what she wants to say. So, first of all, well, I guess let's start here. This book by Henry Seltzers, I believe, is a very, prestigious astrologer. And this is really one of the only books that I could find on Eris, the 10th planet, Revelations from an Astrological Eris. I mean, I started reading it and I just started getting more and more angry because, this is no shade to Henry, okay? Henry, you did a good job. You did, it's so thorough, it's so rational, it's so well studied. But Eris is not something to be rationalized. Eris is not something to be picked apart. Eris is raw, intuitive, primal power. So when she gets picked apart in these ways where we are dissecting charts that have these insane amounts of aspects that, and we're digging to try to find her raison d'être, for living. The more I read this, the less I thought this was even about Eris. This was somebody's, attempt to understand, which is all we can do. And I'm not putting them down, but as Eris coming through me, I got angry. I got very angry because her essence is not in here. So let's just talk about the origins of Eris, when she came about, and what she represents on a global scale. So, first of all, she's the same size almost exactly as Pluto, but she's more dense. She has more rock. She has more dense matter, okay? Her orbit is 558 years, I believe. And she is just coming into our consciousness. So whenever a planet is discovered, right, there's always something going on in the collective. It's revealing, like, humanity can actually finally see what is. They can see that energy. That energy is able to be expressed, to be able to be seen. What was happening in 2003? So this is also something that is debated because people say, oh, it's 2005. She was named in 2005. She was discovered in 2003. So we got to do it when she was discovered. So I did some diving. I did some research. When was she discovered? The things that happened in 2003 were the war in Iraq. Beginning the axis of evil or, you know, the new hegemonic world order that the United States was attempting to create. And simultaneously, you know what else came out in 2003? SARS, COVID. COVID came out in 2003. And you know what? To me, all of this is this, it's like the edge and the max and the intense extreme of the masculinization, the rationalization, the control of nature. So it's like getting to such a point, it was getting to such a point that was when she revealed herself to us through us. Because we are ready for her. Because it's getting to such a point of imbalance and sickness on this planet of control and control of nature, control of the feminine, which we're going to get into even deeper, that she was ready to reveal herself. Now, she has a 558 year orbit. I did some numerology with that. That adds up to the number 18. What is an 18? The 18 in the tarot aligns with the moon. The moon is the feminine. It is the primal, instinctual, intuitive nature. It is the void, right? It is the subconscious. It is the hidden. It is the yin, okay? So Eris is this, and she gets a bad rap because she is known as the goddess of chaos and disorder. Let's talk about that, okay? Chaos is only interpreted as chaos to a deeply entrenched systems of control, right? The control body on this planet of human beings and nature has become so out of whack that in order to break that up, we need chaos. We need her. She is, a lot of people, Mr. Henry Seltzer, you know, he keeps saying, oh, she's the goddess, she's a spiritual warrior, she's a feminine warrior. And what I didn't get in this book, and you know, I only read it halfway, but I had to make a video because I was getting so angry, but I just don't feel like it's in there, is this idea that, you know, this idea that she's a feminine warrior. Feminine warrior, what does that mean? What does that mean? A feminine warrior. It's not somebody that is a woman that is going out and fighting, which he talks a lot about in this book. He talks a lot about the Gloria Steinems, the Jane Fondas of the world. He talks about other people too. But the Susan B. Anthonys, which, hell yes, that is an Eris archetype, but that's like the very, very, very most basic. Those women, what they are defending, but a lot of them were very masculinized to do that, is the raw, deep, primal, intuitive nature that has been all but diminished on this planet. Okay? So I'm going to go through, this is what came to me, and this is what was channeled through me of what Eris wants to say. Eris is the feminine breaking out of the shadows. She does this through fire and flame. Her orbit goes really far out into the dark, okay? Goes really far out into the void. And what has happened on planet Earth today? It's the feminine, not women, okay? Women, it's not women. It is intuitive knowing. It is the opposite of rationality. It is being in tune with the spirit realm. And we have become so obsessed with science and rationality in this current paradigm, which is the method of control, that we have lost the deep intuitive knowing that knows, that is the void, that is the primal instinctual nature that is Eris. Okay? And she comes out of the shadows because she's been almost completely destroyed, and she does it through fire and flame. Therefore, she seems like the goddess of chaos, but she's really breaking out of these rigid systems of control. And the only way to do that is to create some chaos, right? She is a protector of the feminine, meaning she protects the healing, intuitive realm by any means necessary. She will protect the intuitive realm. Eris is the deepest instinct, intuition, source connection. So this is important because this is why this book, Eris is an energy. She's beyond the mind. She is spirit, raw spirit. And she cannot be described in a, 235 page book. She needs to be felt. She needs to be accessed. She needs to be honored. She doesn't want to be picked apart. She doesn't want to be exhausted with rationality because it atrophies. That's not who she is. That is not who she is. And when you exhaust with rationality, you atrophy the intuitive power. And she is raw intuitive power. So she will destroy these kinds of things. I'm just telling you what she's saying. Okay? She is pure energy. She is the most powerful, potent, powerful void energy of the universe. She's Pluto's sister, but I'm going to go ahead and say she's even more powerful than Pluto because she's the feminine, deep entrenched feminine that has been suppressed on this planet since the beginning of humans. And she's done. She's here to be seen. She's here to be allowed to express herself. Eris must wade through landmines to establish her energy. She must remain vigilant and fierce. So when you have an entire system that is made out of irrational context, you're a raw intuitive power, a raw, pure, source connected power. You have to wade through landmines. You're going to be destroyed. And so she must remain vigilant and fierce. So that is why she is the warrior, why she is the goddess of discord. Because she has a deep power within her that nobody outside of her honors. So she must wear a cape of flames in order to wade through that. Eris is the raw, unencumbered, feminine energy of this universe. Okay? The raw, unencumbered energy of the universe. She gestates. She knows. She is the all-seeing. She is the all-knowing. She is every archetype of the divine feminine put together, mixed with a deep rage because she hasn't been seen or worshipped. She's been in the shadows for too long. She's even beyond Kali. She's beyond every archetype. She's an archetype we don't even know yet. She's an archetype that is being discovered as I speak this. Okay? Eris lives in the dark. She is one with the void. She is okay with the dark. That is why she is just as equally okay with the flame and the light. She has no problem gestating, getting her information purely from spirit, not needing the material, not needing the rational. She is of a spiritual, raw power that exists inside all of us and that exists in this universe. Eris gestates. She has no problem gestating. Eris is clear. She has no doubt. Okay? And this is how she conflicts with the modern day society in which we live in. Science is based on doubt. And I'm not dissing science. I understand it got us out of religion. But all of these archetypes, all of these paradigms, Eris is beyond that. She is part of a new world order that is that prizes the intuition of every being as sacred and holy. And when that is allowed, when there is a world where that is allowed and that is venerated and that is seen, Eris will not need to be as insanely fierce, but she has to be insanely fierce to wade through that in order to express that part of herself, because that is who she is. She cannot hide it. She cannot pretend that it's not there. All of us have this inside of us. Eris comes from the void to bring us a message of recalibration. She comes from the void. She's here to rebalance what we have as humans lost in this world and in this culture. Our spirit, our connection to source, our connection to the etheric, and fiercely and passionately and knowing that and claiming that without needing anyone's permission. Eris is raw feminine power of intuitive knowing, gestational birthing, the part of us that is receptive, the moon, the lunar. Eris is pulling us out of the mass destruction we are doing to this planet and ourselves in the name of science and rationalism. That's it. She's here, she's ready to be seen, and she's ready to fight. She's ready to burn some shit down. And she has to be fierce in order for these systems that are toxic and killing the earth and us to be broken down. Eris moves beyond intense complexities and rational explanations. She is simple and clear knowing. Now, this, I think, might be the core of Eris, and I think this is why I was called to make this video, because I got so outraged reading this book written by a man, and I'm sure there's men that understand Eris, but that is the opposite of what Eris is about. She rejects the complexities. She rejects the deep, complex rational explanations, and she only relies on her intuitive, deep knowing, her source connection to spirit. She is the spirit. She embodies that. And if somebody keeps trying to put that on her, or as asking her to prove herself in that way, she destroys it. She refuses. She refuses to cooperate inside of that paradigm, because it is the paradigm that is killing the planet, the animals, ourselves, our souls. It's too much complexity. It's too much rationality. It needs to be balanced. And she is here to balance the scale. Eris is raw, pure intuitive knowing and rejects needing to defend herself through rationality. She rejects this and destroys it. Just what I just said. Eris is the feminine getting pushed so far past its max that it goes into the void and becomes reborn. And it's such a potent force, Eris. It's beyond Plutonic. It's such a potent force because its orbit is so far out into the darkness. It's still part of our solar system. It's a planet we have not talked about. She's getting so pushed so far past her max that she goes back into the void and is reborn again and again and again until now, until when she was finally discovered. And those of us that are ready to see her and allow her to exist inside of our own charts, bodies, souls, to be here on planet Earth at this time. Eris is the feminine rebirthing itself and claiming its energy by any means. This is very, very, very important. This is very important because this is what's needed at this time in history. This is what is absolutely needed by any means. I'm not saying you need to, freaking kill your husband or your wife or whatever. I'm not saying any of that, okay? I'm saying it's an internal process that is a potent, powerful process where there is a reverence, honor, purity, and a rejection of needing to prove oneself inside of these controlled, rational, bureaucratic, man-made systems that are using so little of our potential as humans. We're moving beyond that, and Eris is ready to help knock and move through all that. She's ready to help burn it away so that new energies can come forward, the feminine energy that has been repressed and held in the darkness for so long. She's here to help burn through the old so that the feminine can be expressed. She's burning, burning, burning so it can expand, expand, expand. That's what she's doing. That's why she's the feminine warrior. That's why she's called the goddess of discord and chaos. It's bullshit. It's not negative. It's power in order to be seen. Eris can be rageful. She is the deepest and most potent force of the feminine. She can destroy worlds. She is awakened. She rebalances the scales. The feminine rises by any means. So I put the high and low. The high of Eris is just completely intuitively led without people in her way to do that, right? Or needing the acceptance of others to do that. On the low, it's a deep rage that can destroy worlds because people are blocking her. People are keeping her from doing that. People need explanations. People are crowding her. They're imprisoning her. She's fire. She is that energy of pushing out. And so the low can be this rage because it gets so far suppressed that it creates can create a kind of chaos. But all of these are systems and ideas to work in within the self, where we give ourselves our own permission to see Eris within ourselves and allow her to exist within ourselves. Otherwise, we'll be acting out the high and the lows. We'll be acting out the high, which is the most powerful, potent force of this universe, if we tap that intuitive power. Do not question it. Do not hold it in. Do not hold it back. When it starts getting held back, that's when the rage begins. That's when it can go by its lower expression. So I have two things left to say. I drew this painting in 2019, 18, I think 19. And to me, this is what Eris is. And I just made this one night. It's on wood. And it says, I am who I am. I am a warrior. And it's a vagina. It is the void. It is the source of life with golden, whatever you want to call it. It's dripping this golden power. And, I made that. And it's the protection and the veneration of the intuition is the purpose of Eris. The second thing I want to say is Mr. Henry Seltzers. He says that he's getting this glyph accepted by the astrological community for Eris. Eris doesn't like the glyph. She doesn't like the glyph. It looks too much like Mars. I don't like it. She doesn't like it. We don't like it. The glyph that feels right to me, I'm going to create and share with you. But my proposition is that it's a crescent. A crescent. So I'd be cutting that off with an arrow instead of a circle. This is a circle. That doesn't feel right to me. It needs to be a crescent. It's connected to the moon. It's 18. It's the moon card. It's the moon energy. It needs to be a crescent with an arrow. That to me feels right. And I don't know what I need to do to start to try to get that presented to the astrological associations, but I'm going to, because I feel very strongly about this. So if you guys want me to talk more about Eris, please let me know. But I feel so passionate about this, and I'm so glad I got to make this video because I was just getting so angry about this book. No shade, Henry Seltzers, but that's not the right energy. Okay? So, I love you guys. Peace.